Hi everyone, it's Chris here from Web 105 again. As a professional web hosting business, we naturally feel a bit of pain when a client offers up that they're leaving for a better deal. It sucks when someone leaves us for a cheaper deal, but there are different types of better deals that they're getting. Some are really truly fantastic and an opportunity for us to improve. Some, however, are really gritty gross solutions. They're cheap, they're dirty, they're unlimited plans. This is a total myth. The things that are actually offered as unlimited are the cheapest expenses for your service provider. Example one of this, unlimited data. We don't typically have metering on our average client sites, or we adjust them when they hit limits unless they are massive. The reason is our own data plans are in the terabytes every month. So if a client is using 3 gigabytes or 5 gigabytes of traffic on their healthy website, it doesn't really make any difference to our costs. Example 2, unlimited space. These plans have the ability to have unlimited space on your site. There's a caveat though, files must be related to the website itself. So if you go and upload all your photos and business files as cheap storage, you're likely breaking the terms of your agreement. Space is more expensive than data traffic on your site. With that said, we use state-of-the-art fast storage solutions. This ensures sites are dished up really fast. It is not the cheapest possible storage available with slow old technology. The fact is, a website can only take up so much space anyway. Most websites are not large users of data. Ultimately, the unlimited part of your service is for the cheapest parts that are in abundance. There are some well-priced plans out there, but if you were charging me $5 per month for a service, how much time in terms of service would you offer me as a customer? Even if these services are all offshored to cheap call centers with cheap labor, the amount of service and responsiveness of service is not going to be great. And when you need the most help, when something breaks right, well, you can forget about backups on the cheapest plan. If your site goes down or there is a mistake by the low-cost service provider, by the way, we've had service providers delete whole client accounts never to be retrieved again. If this sounds incredulous, just imagine what it's like to be the person or company losing your website and email forever. That's the end of the road. There is no plan 2 apart from starting again, unless you backed up a restorable copy of your website yourself recently. Overseas Customer Service Center is also expensive to run, so expect email-only responses, usually within 24 to 72 hours. No phone number, or if they have one, it's closed during your local business hours. So if your site goes down and your email stops working, you might have to pause your business and deal with a client fallout for a few days. We are constantly reviewing our infrastructure and looking at how it could be improved. This is where the bulk of the cost is centered. Speed, memory, these things that make your computer in the office or at home fast are things that help you make your website fast too. If a website is to run well, it needs to have enough resources. Many cheap providers cut off the oxygen or space to breathe for your site, so it's always running suboptimally. For example, you might not know that around lunchtime it's actually performing really bad at that peak time. We have a client we moved to our hosting many years ago. We found that there were a number of hours in the day where the website would not actually load for visitors as it was just too popular and overloaded. Your web host is usually not responsible for your website problems or is not well equipped for this stuff. So while you may expect to be charged for assistance with the website itself, you may just find your efforts fruitless as you are handed around various people who don't know enough about you as a customer or your problem to be able to deliver a responsive service. For such a low cost, investment in security and maintenance of the infrastructure can be expected to be much less important. We've seen entire servers compromised in such a way that your website will get hacked into. Then this infects the thousands of other websites on the same server just because of lack security. So how much is peace of mind worth to you? Surely more than $5 a month. Many cheap providers remove critical dashboard tools that help you decipher whether or not your site is overloaded, and this is also helpful for your web developer. This is so their poor website performance doesn't get exposed. For example, our hosting accounts let us and customers see whether their site is using too much juice for their plan. If the site is running slowly, they can tell if it's their plan, or we can advise them accordingly. It's really clear. The dashboard shows performance, how many issues there were, how often, and whether a site is hitting critical limits. If so, a simple upgrade ensures a fast and pleasant customer experience, and the site performs well all the time. For example, a client's site was running very slow. We ascertained due to a viral promotion, their site was getting 1,000 times more visitors that day than any other. We increased their plan accordingly within a few minutes, and the problem went away. You know, if you're on a cheap provider and everything is hunky-dory, congratulations. Yes, maybe it ain't broke. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Our approach, based on our experience, is to attend to the issues that you don't know about before they happen. A cheap provider is a disaster waiting to happen, and they're not going to stick around for the fallout. Cheap things no good? Yes, to a certain extent. If you're paying a low price, do some research and ask some questions. First up, do they take regular backups of your site? If so, how often and how many? Do they charge to restore those? What happens if their system goes down? How can you tell how your website is performing? How can you take a full restorable backup of the website yourself? Can you take a full restorable backup of the website yourself? You know, I recall so many incidents where businesses assumed their sites were being backed up, but that simply wasn't the case. And the customers who leave us for cheaper deals, often they come back. Caveat emptor, buyer beware. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you'd like to see more like this, please click the subscribe bell and you'll be automatically informed when we have a new video. But more importantly, you're helping to support us and help us grow our business. Thanks very much and hope to see you again soon.